Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Linda from lindaspapercraft.co.uk and we are in April 2025 and we are on week 4 of the birthday celebration coffee and card, which is continuing past the end of this month, which is amazing. So a couple of weeks ago we made a card and I did say save your silver embellishment for the matching box we're going to make today. Okay, so this is the box that goes with that, and you just slide off the ribbon so you don't have to undo it, and then just a pretty box to put things in, which is really nice, and it's all made from one piece. So it's a really nice go-to box. I think the original design I saw was on Poodles several years ago, but I've seen it all over the place. It's just a really nice sort of roll-up box. So there we go, so you can make it any size you want. It's really within the limits of a piece of A4, obviously. Right, okay, so we're going to make one today to match the card I made on the video 2 weeks ago, which was the 70th, so we're going to go with that. Right, so here we go. Right, Kit, let's put the box back in so you see what you're doing. So I've already die cut, so I've used the banner for the vellum, and then I've done a number. Obviously today I've done 70, and I've already cut those out, so don't need those. These are all the embellishments, all the trims. So and here's the box. All right, okay, I do love a box. We all know they can go wrong but we love the boxes. Right, so I've just cut them out, and I've already cut them out already. Ugh. Right, so this is what we're aiming for, so I'll just pop that there. Don't worry about the measurements. I mean, if you can follow along while I'm doing it, that's great. However, I will put the measurements in the description below. Okay, so you've got them, and I've got them written down next to me because I can't do it from memory, obviously. So excuse me, we're in Lost Lagoon, and this piece I've already cut you is 28 centimeters by 18. Okay, now people who are doing my coffee and card, I seem to remember I've already scored it for you, but I'm not 100%. So, but for those of you who haven't got the kit, I'll go through the scoring for you. So as I said, 28 centimeters by 18, so you are only getting one out of a piece of A4. And I shall get out my trimmer. Okay, so you're going to score from the long side, so that's the 28. And you know, I'm out of camera shot, but here I have the cutting blade, and there's a little dimp just, oh there, I'm trying in the wrong place. Just going to take the cutting blade out and putting it somewhere safe, because we don't want to cut. And the number of times you get to the last score line and use the cutting blade, I dread to think. I'm doing it all the time. So you need your extender out because we're going over the 16 centimeters. So from the long side, we are scoring at 4, 12, 16 and 24. Okay, so we're starting at 4, 12, this is all in centimetres, I am a centimetre girl, 16, which is always a bit of a tough one to see, it's actually where the join is there, and 24, okay, and so that's 4, 12, 16 and 24, and then from the short side we're going from 4 again, and then 14, and that is all your scoring done. Okay, so pop this away because we're done with this now. Right, so I'm now going to burnish all the folds because they're easier to see. So And the simple thing about this is you're doing the same thing on all the flaps. So it's nice and simple. So burnish this one. And burnish this one. Okay, and now we are going to go from this side and then from this side. So, show the right way. To be honest, it's symmetrical, so it doesn't matter. So, yeah. So we've got 4 wide flaps and 6 narrowest flaps. And what we're going to do is chamfer the narrow ones. So chamfer, you see I've sloped them in. So the big flaps need to be straight. The little flaps, apart from the last one, need to be chamfered. Have I chamfered that? Oh no, I have. Tell a lie. All of them. All the little flaps need to be chamfered. And these ones, the big ones, need to be cut straight. Okay, so what I'm going to do first of all is go and do all the straight lines. So we're doing straight lines all the way along, to be honest. So cutting down. You need to be a bit straight. That was a bit wobbly. You know, I'm going to get my big scissors. It's easier to cut straight with the big scissors. There we go. Straight. Can't see that one. There we go. Same again. Through all of these. So that's one straight down the middle of the score. If you're adept at this, you can do it with a trimmer. You can also do it actually with a knife, with a craft knife. Cannot see that one. There it is. If I can't see it, you definitely can't see it. Right, okay, so I've done straight down all the score lines to the first score line, and now I'm just going to trim the triangles on the little squares. Well, on the squares. So just going to go in there. Once you've made a few of these, you can do both these cuts at the same time. I just thought it's easier to show you one at a time. I think some of us are a bit scared of boxes, but actually the main thing you need to be with a box is accurate. There we go. And again, just cut into that first score line. Oop, nearly did the wrong one. On all the little flaps. So nearly done, just got 3 more to go. There we go. Right, so I think those will be even too small even for school. I give all my scraps that I don't want to my local primary school because they don't have an art budget. And even the little ones they're really pleased to get because they can just pop them in a drawer and let the kids do what they want with them. So it's worth looking. If you've got a load of scraps that you want to get rid of, it's a good place to start to see if they want them. Right, so we're going to make the box and the lid all at once. So these bits are going to make the box like this. And then this bit is just going to make the lid like this. So I'm going to do the lid first. And I'm going to use wet glue. Largely because, generally because you've got the wiggle room. Oops. Okay. So you're just lining up that edge there. And then we'll, can't see what I'm doing. Fold that way. So I'm just putting glue on this flap here. Try to get a little close to the edge there because you want that to be a tight fit. You don't want that gaping. Okay, and I just sort of wiggle it around to spread the glue out, get rid of any excess. Okay. There we go. And then to make the box, shall I make this the... I'm going to make this one the box actually. So I'm going to put some glue on here. And again, go into this edge. And just wipe away any seepage. Okay. Sorry, so that's there. It does get a bit harder to show you and a bit harder to do once you get to sort of nearly formed box. So you need to sort of shuffle that through there. And I'm just putting it on the, just where you can't see it. So I'm putting glue on this bit here. As I say, this bit is a little bit fiddly, but worth spending some time to get these edges really lined up well. Okay. There we go. And then what we're going to do is glue these edges here. Okay, so the best way to do this is to actually close the box. All right, so I've got the box closed. So I'm going to just put glue there and glue that down. Just bring that edge in. Okay, turn it over and do the same again. I knew there was a reason I did the lid last. And again. There we go. Oops. There. Right. Leave that to dry for a second or so. Okay, and then now you've got to sort of fiddle it open. So then the last thing you need to do is you need to put a little finger hole here. So I'm just going to get one of my circle punches. Is that too small? Trying to find my 1 inch. There it is. So small circle punch. And you're just going to punch out a little finger hole in the middle of the lid. So on my kits, I think I've already punched this for you. So just make sure you have the circle hole at the lid and not on the box. Okay, so there we go. We've got a little finger hole. And then to finish the box, I'm going to pop one piece inside. Let's get all the other bits out. So you've got a couple of pieces of designer series paper. So one, glue's leaking onto the worksheet, onto the grid sheet. So one of them goes on the inside and put it either way you want. Stop you leaking. So, I mean, obviously if you really want to go mad, you can decorate the whole thing. So I'm just moving that around. So, and also once you get used to making these, you can actually decorate it before you build it, because you can decide which is going to be the lid and which is going to be the bottom. So, and then that closes down just like that. And we need to put this paper, should we go this way this time? I do like that one. So really, to make this box, just pick out a designer series paper you like and pick out one of the colours to make the box. There we go. So, and then I'm going to pop the numbers on and the gem. Oh, nearly made 07 then, that would not have worked. So where's my pen glue? Ugh. Okay, note to self, get a silicone sheet out before you do this. And as we know with vellum, sparing on the glue because it warps, and also only put glue where it can't be seen. So I'm just going to take some of that off. There we go. Put the 70 next to the 0. And then you've got one more silver metallic stone, which I've lost. I had them a minute ago. These have continued into the new catalogue as well, which is amazing. And then I just put the remaining large one on the top there. Okay, so, and then you can either use a glue dot under that, or I'm just going to put a spot of glue under it. Okay, so just putting a spot of glue under the embellishment, and then popping some glue under the numbers. And then I'm going to stick that to the front. Do it sort of off to one side because you need room for your ribbon. Okay, so you can't see any of the glue because it's behind everything. And then, nope, that's, ooh! Can't find the end of my washi tape. Feels like the end, but it's not doing anything. Where's my scissors? There we go. Okay, and then we're going to tie that round, just sort of flattening the folds a bit. So put this on your grid sheet or your work surface, and you want it to be about halfway. There we go. And I'm literally just going to tie a knot, and you can do this across the middle. It'd be tempting to put some, but you know I'm going to. Put something heavy inside the box so it's not wobbling all over the place. Yep, D block works perfectly. It is a very, this iridescent stripe ribbon does fight you all the way. There we go. Okay, roughly in the middle, and I'm literally just doing a wreath knot, so it is right over left and through, and then left over right and through. Okay, it's probably a little bit loose, but we'll leave it. Yep, it's very loose. Let's do it again. See, you don't want, well, you can, if you want, stick it to the bottom of the box, but it does mean to open it, it has to be, the knot has to be undone. So I think if you can get it to the right size in the first place, then, does not want to undo this knot. Ooh. Yay. There we go, something's loosening. Something is definitely going. There we go. Right, try again. It's retied itself into a knot there somehow. Right, yeah, it's because we've only undone one of the knots, not both. Let's try again. Okay, so this is when you need a spare person who can hold it down for you. So I'm doing left over right this time. pull it this way so it's nice and tight, and then we're going to do right over left and pull. There we go, done. Yeah, that's better, much better fit. And then just going to trim these both to the same length and on a slant. So pop them together like that. Fiddle, 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 fiddle. Okay, there we go. There we are. Yeah, super. Right, okay, and there's your box with a Stampin' Up block in it for anybody who wants one. Okay, so that's the end of May's projects. So see, I'm doing it again. That's the end of April's project, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.